Welcome back to Moose Track Studio. I hope you had a good holiday season. We had a great one. We had some family in for a while, and I chose to spend all my time with them instead of working on the studio, although we did get some things done. One of the things that came up after we talked to our electrician friend, Jamie River, was that we need to replace or put in smoke detectors in the areas where we don't have them currently, and wiring them is going to be difficult. So I'm going to add finding out about smoke detectors to our list of things to do, and then we can go from there. But we're supposed to have a call on Monday with the alarm company to see what it's going to take from their standpoint to change our existing smoke detectors because of their age if necessary, and also add smoke detectors into the studio. SketchUp is a very powerful tool. It's really quick to make some models and to generate a lot of things. It can get pretty complicated too. So we decided that we would check it out. So we created an account, signed in with our Apple ID, and then we go from there to the legal stuff, and we have to read and accept the terms and privacy policy and all that standard stuff there. And then you hit the continue button and you go to this. So for a year's worth of SketchUp, it's $119.99. Seems worth it after you take a look at the tool and all that it can do. And you get to the Get Started page. There's an excellent tutorial. We do have an Apple Pencil, which I would recommend for doing this. So we tell it that we've got an Apple Pencil, and we wind up loading SketchUp. And it takes a second, and then we go into the tutorial, which I highly recommend as well. And in a very short order, we have a sketch of our recording studio. I don't have the dimensions right yet, and you can see the dimension lines and things like that that are drawn on there. You can also go in, and there's a whole lot of tools. You can hide surfaces so that you can see inside, and you can see the channel where our ventilation ducts run and our electrical runs at the moment. And we will build that into something like this. And we got lots of other models to research and lots of other things to do. You might notice there was only one window in our current model. We need to make a second window and that sort of thing. Welcome to Moose Track Studio, temporary studio. We kind of set up here with a keyboard, and we have a bass guitar. And right now we're trying to figure out how to get the MIDI keyboard to talk to Pro Tools, and also how to play back through the speakers because we had it all set up for the Volt. So that's what we're doing. And helping me is Simeon Good, who is a composer out of the LA area, and he's here for the holidays, and we're having fun. Yeah. The first thing we did is start working on a song, and to do that we needed some instruments, so we included the Expand 2 plugin that came with Pro Tools. And just to give you an idea, we pulled up like an EQ, and look at all the options you've got for EQ. I mean, there's graphic equalizers, there's 2-channel, 4-channel, some mock-ups of some pretty well-known EQs. It's pretty impressive, and that's just the EQ selection. So we had to pick something there. And with each one of these individual plugins that you could choose, you also wind up with a control panel that's specific to that plugin. So our control panel for the EQ that we picked looks like this, and your options are just unbelievably infinite. We could have also chosen to look at the drums instead. And so the groove cell, if you pull that up, you got 16 choices, and you got flat pack kits. Look at all these different kits with 16 drums in each one of them. And this is just one of the drum options that you've got. And so it took us a while to unpack all this. I'm going to take it off of the things to do because it's going to be an ongoing project. But you got to pull them up and listen to them and see what they sound like in order to move forward and get a recording going. So that's what we did in unpacking the drums this week. We can switch to a different kit and we get a whole new set of 16 different sounds. And so that's pretty much what we spent the week doing, is playing around with the sounds for our drum kit and our organ and our bass. But every project always starts with problems, it seems. Okay, so what turned out to be the problem?
So it wasn't a problem. I've seen people do this before in labs, and I'm still not entirely sure why Pro Tools does this, but you need to route through this thing called the Pro Tools Aggregate I/O,
Okay.
and that kind of replaces the built-in output when you're trying to go from the like built-in audio.
Okay.
I'm not entirely.
So where do you
sure.
change that?
So instead, I went to the same I/O path we've been working with, and I just added this path to the Pro Tools Aggregate. And then and then I made sure that the master or the mix bus was sending through Pro Tools Aggregate I/O. And then when you hit play, everything works. The only thing that's weird about it is these volume controls on the keyboard no longer work. So you have to really use the faders to keep things from changing weird ways.
It doesn't take long to see that scrolling back and forth on the screen from measure 2 to measure 48 or 50 is time consuming and cumbersome. So if you go up and hit markers, you can get a new location and title it anything that you want. In this case, chorus 1. Put in some notes. Say, this is the beginning of chorus 1. And it shows up on a bar up on the top. It changes color depending on where in the song you are. So we grab the chorus 1 marker that we just created and we drag it to the beginning of chorus 1. And we can put it down right there. And then when we play, we're right on the beginning of chorus 1. That's really helpful, so we'll continue to set up the song structure. We've decided to move our recording process into our temporary studio for a while. That way we can stay out of the way of any construction that we can get started in the studio itself, and also take measurements and things like that. And in the meantime, we can do some actual recording. Here's our list of things to do for the week. I've taken off the contact the alarm company. After we made the beginning of this week's video, we had contacted the alarm company, and it seems like the solution is to put wireless smoke detectors in the places that we need to add them in the house, and that way it can be monitored through the alarm system itself instead of just a standalone smoke detector. So that's what we plan to do. In the meantime, we've added this equipment to the studio, and we've also added this software to the studio. And so SketchUp was mostly the software. Some of the plugins I have listed there that we've started to use in Hey Sister. And so that leaves us with the expenses. And there they are. We have lots of stuff that we're going to be adding to the studio in the next couple of weeks because we need to do vocals for Hey Sister. So we're going to be adding a microphone, some mic stands, some mic cables, and things like that. And eventually we're going to need to add either a USB splitter or a second or a bigger computer. So those are coming down the road very shortly. In the meantime, we hope you had a good holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you again here on Moose Tracks Studio.